Hi, my name is Lily.
Celebrity.
Celebrity, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
Were you able to find the office okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Before we get started, are you thirsty? Would you like a bottle of water?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, I have a mini fridge here, so let me just pull it out. All right, here you go.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, have you ever been to therapy before?
No, this is my first time. I was just referred here by the shelter. So.
Okay. And what was the reason that the shelter referred you or thought that therapy might be a good option for you?
I talked to a worker before I came here. I mentioned to them that I was abused by Eduardo, my current boyfriend right now.
Okay.
So, from my understanding, that's the reason why I'm here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And are you okay with coming here voluntarily?
Yeah.
Great.
Yep, I am.
Okay, great. Well, before we get going any further, I just want to go over a couple things with you about confidentiality,
Okay.
if that's okay with you.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so basically anything that you say in this office will be kept between you and I. The only time that I would be mandated to report something is if there were reports of abuse towards a child, if there was a vulnerable adult in your home that was being mistreated, I would be required to report that.
Okay.
If you yourself told me that you were having thoughts of harming yourself and that you intended to act on those thoughts,
Okay.
I would be required to report that. And then finally, if you told me that you were having thoughts of hurting someone else and that you intended to act on those thoughts, that would be the final thing I'd have to report.
Okay.
Okay?
I understand.
Okay, and you're comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, before I guess we really get into it, the interview process in therapy kind of goes like this. I will ask you some questions, but really you're the expert here in your own life, and to be able to get a good idea about your situation, I need to hear it from you and your own experiences. So this will be, me getting to know you. If I ask you something that makes you uncomfortable, you don't need to answer it, and you can tell me that you're not comfortable answering that, and that won't be any problem. And then also, while we're here, we will formulate goals together. You can kind of tell me some things that you're interested in working on, and we'll kind of establish those.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
So I guess to start, what are some things that you are looking to get out of therapy?
Well, I'm currently have 2 children right now.
Okay.
Michael and Star.
Okay.
As I mentioned before, I'm in a relationship with Eduardo.
Okay.
He did hit me a couple times.
Okay.
I do love him, however, so
Sure.
I'm having difficulty wondering if I should leave him or not.
Okay.
He's a great boyfriend. He's very caring and loving when he's sober. However, when he drinks, it's another problem.
So you're kind of struggling with, you love this man a lot,
right?
But there's been some abuse going on. Sounds like when he's been intoxicated.
Right.
Okay. And about how frequently does the abuse occur?
It's hard to say. Maybe once every few months or like once a week, or it varies a lot. So I can't really pinpoint really good number for you.
Has the abuse ever gotten to the point where you required medical treatment? Have you ever been to the emergency room as a result?
Yeah. Before the women's shelter I was at, I was actually recently in the ER due to some injuries I suffered from Eduardo. Yeah.
And what were those injuries?
I had a couple of bruises, definitely in the face. So.
Okay. Okay. That must have been pretty scary to have to go to the ER for that.
Yeah. It was pretty difficult. I was more worried about my children though.
Of course.
Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough to protect them. You know, so.
In your mind, what more could you be doing to protect your children? It's a hard place to be in.
Right. That's a difficult question. Um, I feel like I have some support from my mother, and I have support from my sisters.
Great.
I haven't totally reached out to them yet. They feel angry that I haven't filed a restraining order against Eduardo.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm definitely on the fence, and I'm kind of going back and forth. So
Sure. How do you navigate your family's anger in this situation with Eduardo? Is that hard for you?
Yeah, especially right now. I get a lot of pressure from them, and I feel pretty bad about myself. Like I said, I feel like I'm not being responsible enough. I feel ashamed that I'm not doing enough for myself and for my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's understandable. I think that's a very normal emotion to feel and a valid way of feeling. And we'll definitely explore that more as we go through further sessions together.
Okay.
Can you tell me a little bit about, growing up? Did you were your parents together? Were they in the picture?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So my father, he's an alcoholic. He's pretty abusive in the home. I had to. My mother was diagnosed with depression as well. I had 6 siblings.
Okay.
So I was also the oldest. So I was by default I was the one that took on more of the caregiving role. I was more of the parental figure. I made lunches. I cooked and took care of my younger siblings.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Sounds
like.
I think a lot of those responsibilities took up a lot of my time. Took a lot of time away from school. Suffered in that.
Okay.
I had my first kid when I was 18.
Wow.
My first boyfriend, Alfonso. However, we don't talk anymore though.
Okay.
And he doesn't really acknowledge our first child at all. So there's no child support or anything like that. So.
How does that feel for you that he does not acknowledge that he's the father of your child?
I feel angry.
Sure.
I feel like I'm not getting the support that I need.
Okay. Yeah. Does that anger with Alfonso affect your relationship with Eduardo?
It does, and I emphasize that I haven't seen Alfonso in a long time, but Eduardo doesn't seem to believe me.
Tell me more about that.
He'll bring it up when we're in like a small argument. He'll bring it up, like he'll accuse me of seeing Alfonso behind his back, and sometimes that would escalate into from a verbal argument to a physical argument or abuse.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
I would say that's a major source of conflict for us.
Okay, so your relationship or lack of relationship with Alfonso is something that kind of angers Eduardo and can make him pretty abusive, cause some abuse. Okay, well, I can see that's hard for you.
Yeah, it is.
You mentioned that your father was an alcoholic and that there was pretty significant physical abuse in your household.
Yeah. I feel like I took a lot of that abuse. Being the oldest one, I had to stand up for a lot of my younger siblings. So, it was tough growing up.
It's an extremely hard thing to have to go through, but that you were so supportive and protective of your siblings is pretty admirable, and that you took on that responsibility at such a young age. It's been very hard, but it's very admirable that you did that. So your father, you told me a little bit about your father's use of alcohol. What about you? Do you ever drink alcohol?
No, I'd say I don't really drink alcohol too much. Maybe like a drink a month, I would say.
Okay, so okay. And what about drugs? Do you use any drugs recreationally?
No.
Okay.
I'm way too worried about anything else than
Sure.
drugs. So.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like the situation with your boyfriend Eduardo and with your children, you're living in the shelter, it's extremely stressful. Have you ever had thoughts of harming yourself or?
No, wouldn't say so.
No.
I care way too much about my children and my family to even think about that.
Sounds like you love your kids a lot.
Yeah, I really do. I want them to be successful and have a good life. So.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you've been living in the shelter, do you have plans to go back home to Eduardo? Are you planning on moving away from your home, or how do you see your relationship continuing with him?
It's tough. Like I said, I want to protect my children, but I love Eduardo, and I don't want him to leave.
Yeah, scary.
But at the same time, I feel like I need to leave the shelter, but I'm also comfortable here.
Yeah.
So just trying to get the assistance that I need with that.
Are you able to feel safe in the shelter, or safer than you do when you're at home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going through life and like having the fear of like just getting hit or abused, like
sure.
That can take a toll on someone. So
Absolutely.
Being in this women's shelter has been good for me. But I do wanna leave. I mean, I do wanna have a housing for myself and for my kids, and get back to work and maybe take up more hours. And
what do you do for work right now?
I'm currently a part-time waitress.
Okay.
I haven't been working full-time because I have got 2 kids to look after. Okay. So
who watches the kids when you're at work?
Right now it's my sisters and maybe a couple friends here and there. Whoever can look after them. There's not really a schedule or anything like that. I guess it's the day of. So.
Right. Do you have a strong support system in that way through your friends and your family? They able to help you out some?
Yeah, I've got 2 siblings, 2 sisters who are pretty near, and they've been really supportive. And
that's great.
Yeah, I haven't asked them if they could like take on more supervision duties for my kids, but.
Would that be something that you are comfortable asking them if you were to work more hours or perhaps get another job?
Yeah, I think so. I think as long as I maybe it won't be as temporary, or maybe it will be temporary for them, and hopefully I will get my job in order and get organized, and I'll explain that to my sisters. So I think they'll be able to take that on and be happy too.
Okay. Would it be helpful for you if here, we worked on job applications together? Is that anything you'd be interested in?
Yeah, I'm open to different opportunities. The being a waitress doesn't pay too much. I've got 2 kids at home, and
right.
I'd be open to it. I've never really put together an application or a resume before. And,
okay.
If you could assist me with that, that'd be great.
I'm happy to assist you with that. I think that would be a really good use of our time together.
Okay.
If you agree.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, great. So I just wanted to ask you, I was wondering if you and Eduardo had ever tried any kind of couples counseling.
We haven't. It's been on the back of my mind for several years. I feel like we need it more and more every week and every month. So, do you think that'd be a good idea to try, or?
Celebrity, that is really something that is up for you to decide.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's certainly an option that we could explore.
Okay.
I can hook you up with counselors who specialize in, in family therapy and
Mm-hmm.
relationship therapy, it's certainly something that we could talk about.
Okay.
I also wondered if Eduardo had ever gone to chemical dependency treatment for his drinking.
No, he hasn't.
He has not. Okay.
I mean, I want him to.
Sure.
I think it'd be best and it'd be better for all of us together if he did get some treatment with that.
And what do you think? How do you think he feels about that? About attending treatment?
Well, when I talk to him about it, he seems pretty receptive.
Okay.
How when he gets drunk, it's a different story.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I wanna sit him down and talk to him about it, and hopefully it'll go well.
Okay. Again, I just wanted to bring up a couple of other options
Okay.
before this kind of final point I want to discuss with you. But you're at the shelter now.
Mm-hmm.
You and I will be working on some job applications together.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great. I'm wondering if, when you do leave the shelter,
Yeah.
I'm wondering how you'd feel about developing a crisis plan with me. What that is sometimes when people are in relationships where a partner is abusive,
Yeah.
the most dangerous time can be when they attempt to leave the situation.
Yeah.
And so basically a crisis plan is, we'll have, you'll know where your keys are, or you'll have a spare set, an emergency set, a bag packed,
Okay.
a family that you can go and stay with if things get really bad. Would you be open to working on a plan like that with me?
Yeah. It's totally new to me.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd be willing to try that.
I think as we explore different options with your relationship and just, in your life and therapy, I think it's really important to have that kind of plan in place.
Okay.
So.
I think that would make me feel more safe and protected.
Okay. Okay, good. Well, we're about out of time for today, but the last thing that I wanted to ask you is, I'd like to kind of set a goal or just a little bit of homework, if you don't mind. I'm wondering how you'd feel about maybe attending a support group for victims of domestic violence. And, they have really great support groups. I know they have them. Alexandra House is a foundation in Minneapolis. They lead support groups. I know they have one on Monday nights. Really good therapists leading the group. I wonder how you'd feel about attending one of those.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good experience for me. I think it'd be good to just hear some other stories and connect and feel welcomed. And yeah, I think I want to do that.
Great. I mean, you're such a strong woman, I can see, and I think that would be something that is so positive for you to really do. And after attending that group, if you could attend one before our next session, I'll give you directions, the address, a map, and then we can really discuss it in the next session.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to discuss today or feel is important for me to know before we leave?
Just wanted to bring up that we came to this session, not knowing a lot of things and not totally knowing what I wanted, but I'm really glad that I met with you, and I think we definitely hit on a couple of good points, and I'm excited and looking forward to going to this session.
Great.
Back to you.
That's great, and I appreciate your honesty, and it's a really great first session. I look forward to meeting with you again next week.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Celebrity.
You too. Oh.